Please like and subscribe. They tell him not to push himself too much, and he tells them he will be careful. Helen asks Sylvia if she's going to send him off with such a sad face. She tells Leon she believes in him. He tells her not to worry, and he'll give up if it's too difficult. He waves and leaves. At the training hall, we see a lot of kids, since it's not just the Zeichhardt family, but also other students from outside. According to Helen, there are a lot of people this year, so the 6th hall is also helping. We see some kids trash-talking him for being a disgrace, even taking a shot at Wrath's bracelet. Wrath says he'll rip their eyeballs out. Leon says instead of buzzing behind people's backs, they need to say it to his face. They say someone of the indirect bloodline shouldn't talk, and he says they aren't either. So why are they yapping and the tone they are for those below them? One of them grabbed his collar and readied their fist, and Leon is ready to clap back, and another kid says to stop. It's the Byrne kid from earlier on. The outsiders are putting shame on the family name. They back off out of fear, and Burns tells Leon to learn his place and he's nothing more than dust. So if he doesn't want to be kicked out, lay low, since back then getting Glenn's attention was just luck, and he used the situation to his advantage, and a loser will fail the training. He tells Leon if he isn't going to behave to leave since he won't pass. Leon says he sure likes to spout, then asks what he is saying. The only thing he has is direct lineage, so what right does he have to talk to him? Then he says he understands if he runs to Daddy Byrne, he gets angry, and Lima kicks the door open as they go to talk, and he says they are already fighting, and he recognizes the lemur, saying he didn't expect him to be here. Byrne clicks his tongue and leaves Lemur, then introduces himself to the mall. He says he heard there are 160 people, and that's way too many, so he's going to reduce the numbers down to a quarter. The students begin to get scared. Wrath says he'll rip the Elseers off, and Lemur says his word here is law. If they have a problem, they can talk to Glenn. Glenn then asks what they are waiting for Interin. Some of the kids mentally check out, then they start hauling cheeks. Wrath asks Slang why he's running all the way in the back. He says it's not a competition, and there's no need to get past those guys. He says Lima looks at others' potential and temperament. The winner of the test is the one who endures until the end. We see Sir Byrne and Lady Runin at the front. The people watching say, well, everyone is fast. They are especially so because there are only 12, yet they are already at the level where I'm scared to see what they'll be like in the future. Then they see Lang gassed out in the back but say that he's sick, so it's amazing he can handle this much. Lima begins to smile, saying it's interesting as he's never seen someone like this before. He explains how he thought the humans whose talents he couldn't calculate were the continent's strongest, as he couldn't see the depths of their power. He can see most of the children's futures, but on land he cannot sense anything, which means he's stronger than he is and out of his reach. The kids from earlier say it's funny. The arrogant one is in last place. He'll soon fail. Lance says there's no way they're just running, even though it's meant to be training. He explains how in his past life he would run like hell from beasts. This is just way too easy. They continue running. Lima wonders how he's running since his stamina was exhausted long ago. It's way past the boundary of determination at this point, and he wonders how he has the same kind of mentality as people who have trained to the brink of death. Byrne turns around and sees Land right behind him, wondering how he's running when he was meant to be sick. He recalls overhearing the doctors talking about Land's health, and he says it's annoying. Then he begins to utilize it, saying he'll show him how much better he is. He quickly takes first place, surprising Leon, but Runin doesn't seem fazed. Land says he's still just a kid, but Runin is more mature than he is. Either way, it's not a competition. It's a peace-side quest to fight your own mental. After a bit, most of the kits are gassed out, and they wonder how the lion is still running, wondering if he doesn't get tired. Lance says that's nonsense, since he feels like he's about to die, and he feels like his heart is about to collapse at any moment, but he's utilizing the ring of fire to squeeze out the last bit of his stamina at the very least. It's improving quickly, and he needs to activate it at its full force to feel the effects as he's happy. Wrath says, "This is pitiful that his future vessel is in such a state," then tells him to hand over his body. Lance says not now, and Wrath says he'll freeze everything. Then he attacks Slan, making him feel a sharp pain in his body. He grips his teeth, saying he must endure his mind being taken over, and he needs to pretend nothing is wrong. He tells Wrath to stop since it won't work on him. Wrath says nobody can withstand his rage. Then he says, "Let's see how long he can endure." Leon says he must endure, since if he shows any weakness, Wrath will swallow him whole. Wrath begins to molt, but Leon says he feels like he's about to die, and his body won't listen to him. His vision begins to blur, and he starts to lose his breathing. He wonders if it's his limit. The lemur says it's enough. Leon begins to pant, and Runin stares at him. Wrath asks how he withstood it, and Leon says he warned him it wouldn't work, but he's happy to grow his ring of fire and his physical strength too. A window appears, seeing his received experience, and Wrath asks how this is possible, saying this is stupid. Lima congratulates everyone, then says what he mentioned before, the test was just a lie to get everyone motivated, but if they show the same results as today, they will fail. Out of all of the 160 today, only one of them ran until the absolute end. Some people used aura to cheat, while he doesn't care how they do it, since they are the ones taking the test, but if they do as he says, they won't fail. The test, he says, now they just need to pass the test in 6 months to become official. He says now they just need to pass the test in 6 months to become official trainees, and he will pick the top trainees, but he won't be ranking them. He says they can go to their dorms now and visit the training center. We see Lemur going into the woods and running into Glenn. He tells him he's in his napping spot, and Glenn asks him what's popping. Lemur says he saw the test for himself, so why ask? He knows how great his eyes are, and Ruining and Burn are talented. But they knew that some of the other kids were too. But he couldn't sense anything in line, and he was also out of stamina, so how did he keep running? It's the first time since Glenn that he hasn't been able to sense something, and his life has been boring ever since his core was ruined, but now it's interesting. Glenn tells him he chose to be an instructor, so don't forget his duties. Of course, since he thinks he's found someone, he can leave his future too. Glenn says it's a coincidence, since Leon can become a martial artist. Lemur smiles, saying he is aware that it is not a coincidence. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content. Leave a like or comment to help the channel out.